Hi everyone and welcome to Traveling Misknits. My name is Pia and I am so very happy that you're joining me here today for a little chat about yarn and knitting and, as of lately, also some crochet, which is kind of surprising to me, but I am really enjoying crocheting. I am still in Mallorca. We were supposed to go home last weekend. I think I even mentioned that on the podcast. But on the last day, we made a quick decision to stay another week so that Peter would be able to finish up the tasks that he had here and he wouldn't have to come back later in the spring. So yeah, with that decision, I of course had to go to yarn shop number 4 and 5 on this trip. I mean, the things you do for love, right? I had only packed projects for 1 week and I could tell, I mean, I was working on my Minimax blanket that I do talk about at length on my last Blankets of Calm episode. I ran out of yarn. I was also working, obviously, on my Better World dress. And I even got a crochet hook so that I could start working the collar of the dress. I had been putting out casting this dress on because I only had a crochet hook number 4mm, and I think I thought I needed something smaller. But finally I got tired of waiting. I used the 4mm and it's beautiful. It's absolutely perfect and I am still enjoying every single stitch on this amazing project. But yeah, I did get a smaller crochet hook so that I could start working the collar band on this. I am right now on the yoke, but I wanted to make sure that the collar was tight enough that the dress wouldn't fall over my shoulders. I got the needle. I don't have enough yarn. Just look at this. This is, I mean, I'm gonna run out probably today. So I knew I had to do something. Fortunately, I am quite resourceful when it comes to my making. So yeah, I went to yarn shop number 4 on this trip, which turned out to be the smallest shop I've ever been in. It was so tiny. I mean, it wasn't smaller than many of the other shops that I saw in Palma, but the owner was smart enough to fill up the shop with yarn and other things. It was like a haberdashery, as many of these yarn shops in Southern Europe are. The only space left for customers was 1 square meter, so we had to wait in line outside of the shop to get in and get our turn. But in there, I got some needles so that I could start using the yarn that I bought in the beautiful little Open Studio 79. I have no idea what that is in Spanish. Beautiful little shop that I went to where I got some yarn. I showed that on my last episode. I got this beautiful, got 2 skeins of this. It is, and let's just see so that I get this right. It is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. It is so soft. It is awesome. And it is hand dyed by the owner of the shop. She hand dyes under the name Pearl and Poem because this is what she likes. She likes poetry nights, or she likes poetry. She does poetry nights in the shop and she likes to knit. So she dyed up this. It is called When Days Get Shorter. Perfect color. It is so pretty. I, as I said, bought 2 skeins of this. It's a fingering weight. And then I had also earlier in the day bought 1 skein of this woven felted tweed. I'm so sorry I lost the ball band, so I don't know what the colorway number is for this one. I just got 1 ball because I have never worked with woven yarns and I really wanted to try. It's not a budget-friendly yarn, but I will say this one, the felted tweed, yeah, I like it. But this is what I had. I had 200 grams of fingering weight, and then I had this 1 ball of felted tweed. And I wanted to make something that I was going back and forth, and I was spending quite a lot of time on Ravelry to find. I could easily have made a top, a sleeveless top with the 200 grams. That's 800 meters. I could make a top for sure, but I don't tend to use my sleeveless tops very much. I prefer a t-shirt, and I'm even starting to want my sleeves on the short sleeve t-shirts to be a little longer. I don't have a thing going with my arms. I don't have perfect arms, who has? But I don't have a thing going. I just really like the look of a longer short sleeve. I like where it cuts the body visually. And I could see that that would be kind of difficult to achieve with the yarns that I had. So what I ended up doing was casting on my own pattern, Scrappy Striber, which is a pattern that is intended for scraps. So you work stripes, and between the stripes you work a little slip stitch pattern to help the colors melt together, blend into each other beautifully. What I decided to do, since I only had 2 colors and not a lot of one of them, is to make a t-shirt that is in 1 color and just with 1 row stripes of the other color. So basically I followed the pattern, and then the slip stitch pattern between the different colors I just made in the contrasting color. And I was fine, I was going at it, and then I looked at it and I was like, nah, I don't like how it's looking. So I ripped back, and then I did a modification to the slip stitch pattern, and I hope that you will be able to see. In the pattern, you're instructed to knit 1, slip 1 with yarn held in back. But I decided to knit 1, slip 1 with yarn held in front, and that just made all the difference to me. I love these stripes, I really do. I am knitting a size smaller than I usually would, just to get not a tight fitting, but a tighter fitting garment. All of my knitted garments have so much positive ease, and I really want to try to make some pieces with maybe not 0 ease, but only a couple of centimeters, maybe 1 inch, something like that. Just to, yeah, try out that look. In the Scrappy Striber, you just have a rolled over neckline. I decided to do a funnel neck, and now that I tried it on, I might fold it over to do a, folded over a neckline, just like that. Isn't that going to be pretty? I really think it is. I've made it a little longer than I usually do, just because I know that I'm probably going to be pulling on it a little bit because it's smaller than I'm used to. So I thought if it's smaller over the bust, and short, I'm gonna feel too exposed. So I knitted just 2 stripes longer than I normally would, and I'm sure that's gonna work out beautifully. This seriously needs a good blocking. As you can see, you also finish the body and the sleeves with just a rolled over hem. You just bind off in the stockinette. And that needs a blocking. It rolls up too much right now, but I'm sure that I'm gonna be able to block it so that it just flips up, because that's the look I'm going for. And I have started the first sleeve, and it is driving me bonkers because the needles that was available to me, and I sound so spoiled, but seriously, these are Prim. I don't even have the case anymore. These are Prim circulars, and I mean, they're supposed to be good needles, but just look at this. Can you even see this? Here at the join, the cable is flat. Plus the join itself is very noticeable. And I'm working magic loop for the sleeves. I'm not loving this. I miss my Chauco. I really miss my Chauco needles. They're in Italy. I'll be home with my Chaucos really soon. This is driving me crazy. And Peter was like, is it that bad? Because I think maybe I was sounding impatient. And he was like, is it that bad? So I had to tell him, it's like if you were used to driving the ultimate luxury car. I have no idea what that one would be, but you were used to driving in the ultimate luxury car, and then you had to take over my grandma's old Fiat. I think he got it. I think he got it. These are horrible, but they're getting the job done. I get to practice patience and gratitude that I was even able to get needles. So all is kind of good. Kind of. I am, as I said, gonna knit the sleeves just longer. I want long short sleeves, and I have plenty of yarn to do so. This is all about the slow, this t-shirt, because I obviously had to hand wind the yarn, which is a slow but also kind of gratifying process. And then I had to use needles that were not my preferred needles. Let's just say that. But yeah, I am learning a lot, and I am enjoying, I am really enjoying the fabric. I'm really enjoying the fit. I have, of course, tried it on. I did try on the body, dropping loads of stitches, but yeah, but then when I bound off the body, I tried it on again, and it just fits me exactly like I want. I want to show you one thing here, because I didn't bring a lot of notions. I brought one light bulb stitch marker. I bought a yarn cutter, a measuring tape, and that was it. No darning needle, no barber cords, no stitch holders, no nothing, because why would I? I was not knitting a garment. I was crocheting a dress and knitting a blanket, so I would have no use for those things. So when it came to separating for the sleeves, I was like, how do I place these on hold? I mean, if I had had an extra set of needles, I could have No, I would have needed 2 extra, and I didn't have that. If I'd had a darning needle, I could just have sewn it over. And I was like, do I really have to knit it over where you knit 1 stitch, then you pull the thread through, knit another, pull through. But then I remembered, because as I was knitting that part, I was using, and I don't have them here. I remembered that on the one set of joggers that I did bring for the blanket, there are little holes. Do you see? It's where you put in the little tool that you use to tighten your needles. There's a hole going through. And I was like, if I could use this needle just for this one round where I was separating for the sleeves, and if I had something that was small enough to fit through this teeny tiny little hole, then I would be threading the stitches onto that thread as I was knitting them. So I found some dental floss. I mean, it's so important that we floss, right? And it's super important to have dental floss, because you can use that. I threaded the dental floss through this little hole on the needle. I knit the one round, and as I was knitting the stitches for the sleeve, well, that's where I threaded the dental floss through, and then after I just pulled the needle and the stitches was on hold on dental floss, as you can see here. It was an easy solution. I would recommend, if you ever try this, see if you can find some dental floss that doesn't have toothpaste on it, because it was kind of not pleasant to the touch, but it got the work done. I had my sleeves on hold without having to go through yet another painstakingly slow process. So just a little tip, if you're ever in a situation like this, that you have dental floss, but you don't have stitch holders or darning needles or whatnot. Yeah, so I learned something knitting this. I actually learned quite a few things. I learned how to take my own measurements and to make sure that I get a garment that actually fits me. I but I realized that I really like this slip stitch pattern for this grabby stripe to be slipping with the yarn in front rather than in back. And I learned how to use dental floss in my knitting. So yeah, such a beautiful project. As you can see, I was just looking at myself holding it up. It does fit right into my wardrobe, which sometimes I'm like, no, I should knit more colorful things. I mean, the sweater I was wearing in my last podcast episode, the very red Christmas Day cast on, I love that thing to pieces. I think that because most of my wardrobe, it consists of jeans and items that are black or in these earthy grayish tones, gray brownish tones. Then when I add a very colorful item, it will instantly go with everything I own. I mean, that is so practical. I could knit t-shirts in all the colors of the rainbow, and they would go with everything that I own. So maybe it's okay to knit what you love, knit in the colors that you love, the colors that you feel comfortable in, and then sometimes add these little pops of color that are, again, then gonna instantly go with everything else because everything else goes together beautifully. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just because I'm lazy. Maybe it's because I'm old enough that I know what I like. Who knows? For sure, I am loving this t-shirt. I am gonna finish it today. I can't wait. I need to wear this. Hopefully tomorrow it'll be just a little bit warmer. Today it's just kind of chilly, which is also why I am wearing my In-N-Out raglan. I completely forgot to say that. I was so eager to talk about the new t-shirt project. I am wearing my In-N-Out raglan. Returning viewers will have seen this many, many, many times. It is a beautiful free pattern from the Republic of Me, and I am of course gonna link it in the description box below together with everything else that I have talked about. In just a couple of days, I realized that this one was gonna zoom by. I don't know if it's the stripes. It's kind of addicting. You just need to finish one more stripe just to see what happens when I put in the next stripe. Yeah. So I could tell that this wouldn't be enough knitting for me for a full week. Which sounds absolutely crazy, but what can I do? It is a quick knit. You're working on size 4mm needles. That's a US 6. So you get this very light and open and drapey fabric that is so beautiful in the t-shirt, but it just goes by super quickly. So I realized I'm not gonna have enough knitting for the entire week. So last night we had decided that we wanted to go out for dinner. And then I went and asked Google Maps, not where is the best restaurant around, but where's the closest yarn shop. That turned out to be in Capdepera, and in Capdepera actually is also one of our favorite restaurants. So, I mean, sometimes life is just beautiful. I had no idea that there was a yarn shop in that town. It's a teeny tiny town, but the yarn shop is off the beaten track, so to speak. So I had never seen it before, but I went and I got this Katja yarn Concept. Isn't it beautiful? It is 80% virgin wool and then 20% silk. It's a single spun, I think. So I'm gonna have loads of fluff and pills, but doesn't bother me too much. It is so soft. It is so beautiful. I'm sure it's gonna knit up absolutely wonderfully, like drapey, a little bit heavy. Yeah, so pretty. I got 5 balls and I have a few different ideas. I wanna, again, make a springtime, summer, in a not too warm climate t-shirt. And what I am thinking about making is this one. It's the Eco 123 by Anke Strick. I love that one. It's constructed in such an interesting way where you have these folds in your knit that gives you just a little more ease, and also it definitely looks like a very comfortable and easy to wear knit. I'm really tempted to knit that one. If it's not going to be that one, I need to look through the pattern to see how complicated it is. I do not have my full bandwidth this week, so I need to look through the pattern to see how complicated it is. If it's too complicated, I'm just gonna make a basic raglan t-shirt with long sleeves, but I'm really interested in the Anke Strick. She does amazing designs. I really love her fits. It's always just a little off on untraditional, super cool. So that's next on my nails. I am gonna finish this one first. I am gonna allow myself a little bit of crochet, and then I'm gonna cast on with this yarn. So I know what to do. I am really happy with what to do. Life outside of the project bags has been, yeah, I've known what to do. This week has been work heavy, and I'm not mad about that. I love what I do. I love to get a chance to really immerse myself. And when we're in Italy or in Denmark, I'm in a home. I'm in my home. There's always stuff to do in your home. When you're just visiting, you have all the time in the world. You have no distractions. So while Peter has been working, I have been working, and I have been enjoying myself a lot. I finished, and that was before we left Italy, I finished Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. And that's a book that still resonates in me. It was beautiful. It was beautifully written. I loved the pace of it. I loved everything basically about that book. I do have other like really good books that I want to read. I had them all lined up for me, but as I mentioned, I don't have the bandwidth for a read that is too engaging. So I saw that Sophie Kinsella's newest novel was ready on my book streaming service. So I downloaded that one. Now I've been reading and knitting. I just tore through it. It was loads of fun. It's called The Burnout. And it's a true Sophie Kinsella. It's cute. It's heartwarming. It's fun. It's probably a little bit quieter in than many of her other books, but that actually worked out beautifully. I really like that one. It's just this quick and easy read when you just want some great entertainment. Watching every night. We have been so tired, both of us, and I have been knitting and watching. Peter's just been watching. Honestly, watching and sleeping. But we have been watching The Gentleman on Netflix. That is such a cool show. I mean, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's by Guy Ritchie. I'm sure many of you already watched it. It's amazing. It's by Guy Ritchie. And I kept being reminded of the Tarantino kick that I was on recently. There are so many things that are similar in the way that they do a movie, or in this case, a series. Yeah, that was a really enjoyable thing to watch. We tore through it in, was it 2 or 3 sittings? 3 nights we spent on it, and then it was just whoosh, gone. So we're back to the Blacklist again, which is also, I mean, I am still enjoying the Blacklist. Other than that, we're trying to remember to enjoy that we are here in Mallorca, in one of the most beautiful spots on earth. So we try to go for some walks, to go out either for brunch. I have a favorite brunch spot not far from here, or go out for a dinner. We don't always let the location of yarn shops inform where we're eating. That was only on one occasion. But yeah, we haven't had a bad meal here. I don't know that they can even do bad food. So we are really trying to take all that in and save it in our greedy little hearts, where we leave little pieces of our hearts all over the world, and Mallorca is definitely one of those places where we, both of us, did leave just a little piece of our heart. But yeah, we still have a few days left before we're going back to Italy, which I'm also looking forward to. So I will say no complaints from my corner of the world. I really hope that your corner of the world is nice. It is as you want it to be. I hope that you're safe, happy, and I hope that I will see you again next week. Until then, keep knitting.